I'm Donna Blanchard, and this is your ThinkTech Daily News for Thursday, May 21st, 2015. Yesterday, France's Ministry of Defense confirmed that French troops killed an Al-Qaeda commander believed to have been behind several kidnappings for ransom and murders in France. The man was Abdelkarim al-Targui of Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. He went by the name Abdelkarim the Tuareg, which is an alternative spelling of Targui. This branch of Al-Qaeda finances operations by kidnapping Europeans for ransom and has been doing so for years. France is notorious for paying ransoms. Targui was particularly reprehensible to them because in November of 2013, 2 French journalists were kidnapped, but when the car the kidnappers were driving broke down, they called their commander, Targui, for direction and were reportedly instructed to kill the journalists and move on. French Special Forces carried out the operation that ended the life of Commander Targui on the night of May 17th. Here in the United States, 461 people were killed by law enforcement officers in 2013. In Brazil, where the population is 100 million lower, their law enforcement officers killed a reported 2,212 people, nearly 5 times as many. But instead of outrage over the killings there, proponents of harsh policing tactics are growing stronger, particularly as the city prepares to host the Olympic Games next year. Ivan Marquez, director of Instituto Sul da Paz, a group that tracks police issues, said, "There are parts of the middle class that accept killings by the police as a legitimate practice." Last month, when a 10-year-old boy was shot and killed by the police, a small group of women in Rio, whose children were also killed by the police, came together to form a council seeking to halt such deaths. But rights groups and scholars say that if previous killings of children by the police are any indication, the fury over that boy's death will fade without producing any significant shifts in policing methods. A few days after the fall of the Iraqi Anbar province capital of Ramadi to Islamic State militants, and a few days before they took the city of Palmyra, President Obama said in an interview with Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic that Ramadi had been vulnerable for a very long time, primarily because these are not Iraqi security forces that we have trained or reinforced. The United States is sending 1,000 anti-tank rockets to Iraq to help its forces counter vehicle bombs, which were used by the Islamic State to capture Ramadi. But the White House is making it clear that it does not intend to engage in a broader overhaul of the American war effort in that region. Mr. Obama has authorized airstrikes and occasional special forces missions, but otherwise, he said, he was counting on the government of Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi of Iraq and moderate Syrian rebels to conduct the fight. He went on to attribute the fall of Ramadi to a failure by the Iraqi government to build up its forces, fortifications, and command and control systems in Anbar province, a largely Sunni region that has long been a hotbed of resistance to Shiite-led governments in Baghdad. Despite the fact that U.S. Republican leaders, including Senator John McCain of Arizona, chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, have been quite vocal in their insistence that we should become more involved in the region, President Obama said, quote, "If they are not willing to fight for the security of their country, we cannot do that for them." I had the final word in the last argument I'll ever have with my ex-boyfriend, and it felt fabulous. Ahui ho, everyone. Donna Blanchard, ThinkTech Daily News.